People are showing up. Yep. Now everyone's coming in. Holy crap.
You want me to start reading them?
Start reading from the top. I am driving, so I will be listening and then commenting back.
Universe Cup Series says, hey.
Well, hello. I am angry.
Trucks needs to go to NBC now.
Trucks needs to be... Fox just needs to cancel their... I don't want to say it this way, but fire the producer and fire most of the team. My goodness. I don't know. I didn't even watch the race on Fox. I was there live. And I can tell it was a horrible broadcast because everyone hated the race, and the racing was spectacular. We had a great race. So, way to go, Fox. What's next?
Moffat shafted.
Yep, don't... we're going there later. We are going there. Don't do anything.
Alright, we're back.
So I will say, if you guys, it's hopping in and out, as soon as I get interstate, man, I hate to hear that race coverage sucked, because it was a fantastic race. It really was a solid race. I was ticked off because Moffat got just destroyed on the front stretch and hosed by NASCAR. Like, that's what made me mad, but the racing was superb. I mean, what a great race. So I'm really annoyed that they basically screwed the race up with their stupid calls, and you know, not just stupid calls, but they screwed it up for you guys at home on the coverage. So that I'm kind of ticked off about that too. All right, what's next?
This is getting bad.
We'll go through some of that, and we'll just go through what I found at the track. We're not even going through the rest of it. All right, what else?
Fox missed the flip.
Okay, to be fair, I also missed the flip. Did you miss the flip?
I missed the flip.
Everybody that I know at least missed that flip. That flip's happened so fast. Like, that was literally sideways, flipped, and then landed on its wheels so quickly that when everyone said, hey, our flipped, we were all like, what? No, wait, really? Like, none of us in the stands knew that. So I will give them a little grace on that, just because, you know, with a half mic, you could have one stationary camera in each corner and cover all your action, but, you know, that would require effort.
Trash.
It was not trash. The racing was great. The coverage, it sounds like, was trash, and NASCAR was trash. NASCAR race control, holy crap, were they trash. But the racing was not bad.
You're back.
Somebody better confirm that. If you guys can look that up, find out for sure. Because if you weren't at the track, I am going to be livid. But honestly, you missed a great race. It was actually a pretty good race. Now, I will say, I think Fox sounds like did a really crappy job, so maybe you didn't miss that much. But from what it was like in the stands, it was terrific. It was a fun race to watch. So it was fun to watch. I enjoyed it. I said I'm ticked off at NASCAR right now. They absolutely screwed Brett Moffitt on that penalty call, and that's what ticks me off the most.
Fox had a commercial over the celebration.
I'd like to say I'm surprised, but I'm not. Fox needs to I mean, this is also, I'm going to blame whoever signed the TV contract, because they gave themselves no leverage. Like, any good sport protects themselves in a contract. NASCAR did the opposite. They literally gave the TV companies all of the leverage. So TV companies get to say, here's when the race is on, here's where it's allowed to be broadcasted, here's the start time, regardless of how fans feel. And so NASCAR absolutely has to fix their TV in the next contract, because this is awful. Next.
My pick, Kraus, messed up at the end.
I mean, I don't think he really did that much wrong. I think part of it was he just got the wrong lane choice. Nothing he could have done, because we're going to go into that one too. NASCAR says, we can't have a cone. Yeah, that's bull crap.
Oh well. MRN didn't get the flip.
Yeah, as I said, I was listening to MRN, and they said, wait, that car flipped? And I literally am sitting in stands, you know, and I thought the same thing. Like, I did not see a car flip. So I don't really blame Fox a ton. I still think you have to have enough cameras there to catch some of this. But, I mean, that flip from when the truck was sized to when it landed on its wheels, that had to only be like 2 seconds. Like, that's a tough ask.
They went to commercial in the middle of Todd's burnout.
Lovely. They missed the celebration because they need to... I'm not even surprised. I bet they literally went to commercial during half those green flag runs. I would not even be surprised if they just completely missed the little bit of good racing that we had. I shouldn't say a little bit. It was actually pretty solid.
Didn't Fox miss like 2 flips? I think it was.
So I heard they missed the one flip. I don't know if they missed Brett Moffitt getting up on his side. Tanner Gray ran out of talent, absolute hack. But they were 3 wide and 3 and 4, and they come up on the straightaway, and Tanner Gray just decides he's gonna use the wall instead of giving your lane, and literally shoves the 22 into the wall so hard it got propped up on its side. Like, ran out of talent, or just didn't have a spotter. It's one or the other, but regardless, it was 100% stupidity on whoever. I don't know who, but yeah, that's when I was just done with it. At that point, it was like, yep, they hosed him. NASCAR hosed him, sent him to the back, then he got wrecked. It's like, I'm not even surprised.
So you're going to take a left in 2 miles?
Yeah, that's a ramp, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
I'm getting on 80, right?
Fox did have one lady on pit road that had really insightful information on track and how the dirt got packed in.
Well, I'm glad they at least had something. Did somebody confirm if they were in the booth or not? Like if they were at the track? Because if that was the only person they had there, we've got more ranting to do.
Moffitt got screwed, but he spun the tires and had a good restart.
Oh, yeah. Not only, I don't even care about spinning the tires, had a good restart. You look at the camera. He's in the zone. Like, that's the rule. And they're like, no, he's too far out front. We got to penalize him. I am pissed off. Like, what the hell are you supposed to do? If somebody spins their tires, you're supposed to stop for him? Oh, that ticks me off. Nothing ticks me off worse than NASCAR screwing somebody over by just having a horrible officiating. NASCAR is a sport that should have as little officiating as possible, and any call they make should be as black and white as possible. And when they make these types of really winky-dinky calls that make no sense because you have video evidence that it didn't happen, that just ticks me off. Literally, it'd be one thing if they said, I think he jumped. Look how far ahead he is. Okay, let's go look at the tape. Instead, they said, wow, he's out there a ways. Let's look at the tape before we decide if he jumped or not. And then they look at the tape and somehow they come to the conclusion that he jumped? Like, that's trash.
Thoughts on Deegan winning the heat race?
She looked good. I don't know that she was the fastest truck. She just got out front. So, from what I saw, once I want to say 99 and 52 got clear of, I think it was I don't remember who it was, but once they got clear, it seemed like they were able to, it seemed like they were starting to close in on her. But she was out front early enough that I don't think it mattered. So again, good on her. She did what she was supposed to do. But like I said, I don't think she was fastest in her heat.
The Des Moines track deserves a cup date, not Knoxville. I'm thinking that.
I think you're talking Iowa, Newton, Iowa. Yes, Iowa does deserve a cup date. Honestly, I would not be afraid to put the Cup Series at Knoxville. This year, they let Knoxville prep their own racetrack the way they wanted to, and the showing was much better. I mean, it was a 2-lane racetrack. It was great, but it is a small town. Like, Knoxville is a very it's a destination. You gotta go once. You have to go see a big race at Knoxville, because it is literally a 2-lane road in and out of town. Like, that is cool. But that being said, I do not think they could handle a Cup weekend. I think that would be far too much. That's too much to ask on that small town to handle.
One of the worst calls NASCAR has made.
Yeah. I mean, I've been sharing spam the picture, by the way. Go on Twitter, RaceCraze95 on Twitter. Find that picture that I have, save it, and then spam it in the comments of every NASCAR post for the next week, because I am furious. That's the hometown driver, and they penalize. Like, you gotta be kidding me, NASCAR. Oh, that ticked me off so much.
Fox ignored the flip ever happened, even the Moffitt side crash.
Oh, well, yeah, sorry guys, Fox screwed it up. The racing was great, and Fox basically missed it. So it sounds like Fox is the problem. When fans are getting disinterested in the sport, it's because Fox is not showing them what's on the racetrack. Because what was on the racetrack tonight was great. I mean, it was fantastic. What a great races on the racetrack.
Even if trucks don't get NBC, they should say.
What should?
Trucks, but they're on FS1 for the rest of the year.
Yeah, Fox holds the contract for trucks through 2025, so unfortunately the truck series will probably die because of their horrendous coverage. But yeah, Fox has NBC, or has the trucks for like 2 straight years. Hopefully soon they'll get some competition in there, but they put no foot forward.
I feel bad for Carson.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I can't. Luckily that happened early enough in the race that the heartbreak kind of wore down as I was rooting on Moffitt, but that was awful. I mean, he's leading the race and the engine just goes on him. Like, the kid has been absolutely snake bit.
I think NASCAR should just hire Race Craze and everything would be good.
Yep. Give me what do you call it? Sorcerer Supreme. That would be the word. Give me Sorcerer Supreme of NASCAR. I'll fix every issue they have. The contracts that they already signed I might have trouble with, but I could fix almost every freaking problem. And it doesn't take that much, I don't think. I think the problem is everyone has such low expectations. NASCAR's sitting there trying to cater to so many people. They're not just focused on running the show correctly.
They may not race at Road America next year. They want to go to a crappy street course.
Yeah, Road America. Let's burn that bridge 2 years in. They only had 100,000 people at the racetrack last year. It's another example of NASCAR just having their head up their ass too far. I don't even normally cuss on the channel, but that pissed me off. Road America sells out, has 100,000 fans at the racetrack. And what does NASCAR do? Chop the date off. We're going to Chicago. We got to chase the new market. We need to chop off these fans and go find new fans because these old fans are not what we're wanting. Like, how do you do this twice in 20 years? Like, what the hell did you think happened at the end of the 2000s? All of a sudden, you're chopping off all these fan bases. We're going to go chase California fans. We're going to go chase the big city fan with all the money. That's who's going to be the NASCAR fan. And then they're like, screw these dumb rednecks that like the sport and will travel 18 hours to get to a racetrack. Screw those guys. We need people with money. And it killed their sport once. And they're going to do it again. As you can tell, I'm amped. I am freaking amped.
They cut to Tanner Gray, just parked on the track.
Yeah, Tanner Gray just basically walled the 22 and sent him up, like, literally sideways along the fence. I don't know. It's hard racing to a point, but at the end of the day, if a car is high, a car is high. You can't just ram them into the fence. I don't know why that's so hard to understand. Like, I get when people want to say it's just hard racing, that's fine and all, but you're in control of your own truck. Hard racing is I nudged you in the corner or I rubbed against your side. Hard racing is not I forgot there was a car outside of me, so I slammed him in the wall and put him up on his side.
Looks like there were no commentators at the track, only pit.
That's
reporters.
unacceptable. Fox. I'm done with them. I am so sick of that. Sorry, they can call a race from a booth with two cameras on site, and they end up missing half the race. I mean, that is unacceptable. NASCAR has no freaking bark. At what point do you say, hey, we're putting on a great race here, and you're not bringing it to our fans? You have to do better. Instead, they sit there and tuck their tail between their legs and whimper all the way home because, well, we got our money once, 10 years ago.
Someone said I love Race Craze rants.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody's happy, because it's not me!
It's like when Juan Pablo spun his tires at Dover and screwed over Jimmy Johnson because he got a better launch.
That is 100% accurate. But, even in that restart, Juan Pablo Montoya was the leader. Brett Moffitt was the leader of the race! And they called it. That's even worse! They're saying the second place car spun his tires. The leader must have jumped. That's trash.
Fox, please leave NASCAR.
Fox, please just turn off your channels. Your news coverage is garbage too. Turn all of the Fox channels off. They're all garbage. And by the way, for anyone that wants to get political, they're all garbage. Fox, CNN, NBC, I'm not even going there. They're all trash. Turn them off.
Race Craze blog.
No, I don't do vlogs. No, I here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. I live in the moment, which means when I'm at the racetrack, I record maybe a couple of small clips and take a couple of pictures. I kid you not, I have less than 10 total photos and videos on my phone. 10 total for the whole day. Because I am just living in the moment and I'm enjoying every second of it, and that's how I want it to stay. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like when you vlog, you end up having to like, it's like you're half living. I don't know. It's not my thing. It wouldn't be something I would do a lot of for sure.
If Road America gets stopped, then I think NASCAR should add Portland and Mid-Ohio.
No, not Portland. That trashes. I'm sorry. Portland does not deserve a cup date. That is an awful racetrack. Like, it was, I don't even want to say entertaining. It was a crap show. Like, that weird kink, you had guys getting penalties, stopping and going and gaining 10 spots in that zone. I'm sorry, that's garbage. Like, how does NASCAR let that go? How does NASCAR say, oh, this guy missed the chicane and did a stop and go. Oh, look, he gained 10 spots. That's not a problem. So sorry, Portland. Don't get me wrong. I think if you can work on that course and not get rid of that silly kink, you could be better. Like, Portland has a shot. What was the other one? Mid-Ohio?
Mid-Ohio.
Mid-Ohio's solid. I don't know that they have the crowd capacity for a cup race, but yes, I do think Mid-Ohio is a good market to try and hit.
Can NBC announce all 36 races?
Here's, honestly, I'll give you this. I want CBS. I want Alan Bestwick. Give me Daddy Alan. Sorry, Alan Bestwick is daddy. He is the GOAT of play-by-play. It's not even close. Mike Joy's great, but Alan Bestwick, it ain't even close.
Was Deacon penalized?
Was she?
I don't know. Let me get.
I mean, they sure. If she was, they didn't tell us. So someone would have to tell me if she got penalized or something. I don't know. I can't imagine what it would be. Is that HEB tape?
What?
Alright, what's that?
Sorry. NASCAR finally gets a good package with good racing, and they screwed up on calls and everything, like the race, like the Blaney All-Star thing.
Well, I'm going to stop you right there. They had nothing right at the All-Star race. Okay, that was just trash from start to finish. Like, nothing was redeemable about that All-Star race. Now, here at the truck race, yes, they had a great race. Fox couldn't do their job to bring the race to the fans. NASCAR couldn't do their job to just, do their job. And in the end, we end up with a great racing product on the racetrack. And the only people that really got a good chance to soak it in were the fans. But our hometown guy got screwed on a penalty. So now we're pissed too. Why not piss everybody off?
What do you think of the LA Coliseum?
I don't like it. I mean, here's the thing. If they were racing, oh gosh, what are they called? Not midgets. What are they called? It's USAC. If they were racing like USAC cars, go-karts, mini cars, something like that, I'd be more okay with it. The fact is, you just can't race full-size cars in a stadium. Like, it's just not going to put on that great a race. And that's my problem with it. I just don't think it's going to put on a great race because it's just too small. So, I mean, they're going back next year because, LA is going to be NASCAR. Even if we have to chop off all those darn hillbillies to get them, we'll sacrifice everything for these guys.
Bulldoze Texas put Chicagoland back with 2 dates.
Better yet, Bulldoze turns 1 and 2 of Texas and put them back to their original configuration and still give Chicagoland their date. One of their dates. They can keep one. Texas is a good market, guys. Like, I get it. That track is garbage, but it is a good market, and they do have solid promoting. Their biggest problem is they screwed up their racetrack, and so they have to wait until they can fix it.
Is Auto Club meant to be a short track next year or 2024?
I believe 2024. I don't know. NASCAR's in charge of it, so they'll probably screw it up. You're probably going to end up with them putting up a football stadium and trying to put a racetrack inside of it because the Clash will be fun for some reason next year, and they'll just go bonkers with it and go build something stupid. It's NASCAR. That's what they do. They're impulsive.
I got lost. I got lost.
No, are you?
SRX coverage was absolutely great. CBS needs to take over NASCAR coverage after 2024.
Yep,
2025,
like I said,
technically.
2025. But yes, agreed, 100%.
Sorry, I'm getting lost.
Okay, if I miss them, just repost them.
34?
34 people. We got 13 likes. Let's fix that.
14.
14. Woo! Get us to 22 likes. Brett Moffat's truck, number 22. I want 22 likes. Let's go!
Here's the diecast one. Do you know when the next gen 124s will be released?
Well, I found one at the racetrack, so probably about a month. And I shouldn't say that car will be available in a month. I don't know when we'll start seeing everyone else's next gens. I've started to see some prototypes. So I'm kind of hoping we'll see them in the next 6 to 10 weeks. But I'm still kind of on the verge. I don't know for sure. Nothing's guaranteed.
Did you see the LGBTQ shirts NASCAR made where it says Yas car?
What?
Yeah, they made.
I mean, why? It said what?
Yas car.
Like, why? What is Yas car?
Fox only cares about animation domination like Simpsons, Family Guys, and Bob's Burgers.
They don't even care about them. They sold the rights to them.
Oh, yeah.
They sold them all off to Disney. Fox doesn't even care about them, if we're honest. Ooh, that is a dog or a coyote. Well, he didn't get hit. He got lucky this time.
What
What?
do you think the Xfinity Series should race on dirt?
Oh. No, I don't think so. If I'm being completely honest, the Xfinity Series is the best racing series that NASCAR has. That I'm going to say it that way. The Xfinity Series is the best racing series that NASCAR has. They have the best car counts. They have the most entertaining races. The drivers have the most control. You can see them on edge. They can race hard with each other. The Xfinity Series is better than the other two series right now.
Okay, that's another dirt. Instead of bulldozing Auto Club, just go to Irwindale Speedway near Auto Club. It's a very fun short track.
I mean, they have to put the improvements in. It has to be Cup caliber if they want to bring a Cup Series race there. So basically, like, you have to be able to handle the parking, you have to be able to handle the facilities, all that kind of stuff. So they either would have to really soup up that facility, and depending on what's around it, they may not have that capability. But at the end of the day, it's nice to have at least some unique racetracks like Auto Club where you have these nice big sweeping corners. Like, that's not a bad thing. I enjoy, talent racetracks with high speeds.
Get rid of Texas and go back to North Wilkesboro.
Get rid of Texas and go to Iowa. North Wilkesboro is going to have to steal a date from Charlotte or Darlington. You can't put too many races in the South there. And it's basically oversaturation at that point. Like, you just have so many tracks down there in the South that you have to keep it at a certain number or you're going to end up oversaturating it. I mean, the Midwest is starving for races. And the only reason I say Iowa, it is the furthest north track in the Midwest that we have. So North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, obviously the state of Iowa, all of them, even out to Colorado, you would be pulling fans from those areas.
Is there any way to watch replays of the race? I don't think Fox offers any replay option.
NASCAR will post the race in full, so you'll see what you missed under commercial, but if Fox just simply missed it, they missed it. There's no way to get that back.
How much you want to bet NASCAR is stupid to put the dirt race in the playoffs next year?
No, I don't think they'll do that. I think they'll get enough. They'll get too much flack for that. If I'm being completely honest, NASCAR should just get rid of the playoff system entirely right now. A clean and clear example is how we're talking about how we have so many winners and so much parity. And I'm just going to fast forward and let's just say the last month was the playoffs. The last month was like playoff racing. The final four would consist of all drivers outside like the top 10 in points. That is not good for a sport. So, I mean, that's the biggest thing, is this car is so bad in dirty air and has some of these issues that I am very concerned that the championship is going to come down to a lucky pit call, and I shouldn't even say the championship. I think it's the Final Four may come down to that. Like, it could come down to a badly timed caution at Martinsville, and you're trapped in traffic because nobody can pass, and all of a sudden your playoff run is over. No matter how good you were in the regular season, because it was just such a good, tight, close field, and they want to somehow make it a one-race championship because they're stupid. Let's just point this out. There are 12? Yes, 12? I think there are 12 current winners. There are 12 people who theoretically could be champions, depending on how a race plays out. 12! I'm sorry, that's too many.
Do you have a favorite driver?
Well, I was cheering for Brett Moffitt tonight. I'm an Iowan, he's an Iowan, so, and he was going to win that race. I haven't even ranted about that. I mean, I've ranted about it, let's be fair.
Yeah.
I haven't ranted enough about it. I gotta think. I don't think I saw him get passed once tonight. I'd have to think back, but I do not remember him getting passed.
In heat races, he did.
He got passed in the heat races. I'm not really worried about that. I'm talking the feature. But
I don't remember.
in the actual race, I don't think he got passed for position unless it was a restart starting on the inside. But once the cars kind of got out, I do not remember him getting passed once. So when he got out front, he was going to win that race, and NASCAR screwed him.
Do you think Kentucky will ever get another date?
As long as Amazon is renting their parking lot for more money than they make on ticket sales, no. So they basically, the track right now is making more money by sitting empty than it would if it was full. So there's no reason for them to fix that or change that now.
Let's do 50 races, one in each state.
No. The only reason I said no is just because you have too many good tracks where it's multiple per state. Like, I'm sorry, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho. You can have 2 races between all of you, but there's just nobody out there.
Okay, I'm joining ARCA next year for Kimmel Racing.
Wait, like on a crew? Cool.
Trucker Xfinity should go to either Hickory or Five Flags. Both have hosted NASCAR races at one point. I know History at one point for the Busch Series, but Hickory at one point for the Busch Series, but not Five Flags.
The Xfinity Series should be at Iowa Speedway, number 1. But yes, they need to go to more short tracks. I think the Xfinity Series is, again, the most entertaining racing series we have. But that being said, the Xfinity Series does not need to go to Las Vegas twice. They do not need to go to... Where else do they go twice? Atlanta twice, I believe. I don't think they need to go to Atlanta twice. They don't need to go to Daytona twice. They don't need to go to Talladega twice. They just spread their races out. They put on a good show.
In a mile, you're gonna get on or take a right. Could NASCAR go back to the Gen 6 with a composite body?
No reason to. If they had the option, they should just go back to the Gen 5. Go back, literally, don't even go, I shouldn't even say go back. Just take the Xfinity Series rule book and move it to Cup. Just do that, and you're fine. So if they were to go backwards, that's the right way to do it, is to just go backwards to that car.
In a half mile, you're gonna take a right onto a ramp.
Okay.
What's your favorite race of the season?
For the trucks, let me think here. Honestly, this was a great truck race. I don't know. Trucks have been pretty dud this year. They have not been perfect or even close. I'm trying to think. What was a good race? Bristol Dirt was very meh. Kansas was meh. Who even won that? Zane? I don't know. Yeah, it was dull. Honestly, Knoxville was good. I'm not gonna lie. From the TV booth, probably terrible, but the racing itself was good. It was a good race. Yes.
If you ever seen footage, do you think Riverside Raceway was a good track? It's quite a unique road course.
Riverside is nostalgic, but I don't think it was a great road course. I think people are nostalgic about it. But if we're being honest, it's very similar to North Wilkesboro. North Wilkesboro is charming, but North Wilkesboro is not Bristol. Like, people think the racing was just on edge of your seat type stuff. It wasn't. Like, North Wilkesboro could get very, like, dull. And that's okay. It's got a charm to the track and stuff, but, you know, I think Riverside's the same thing. People look at it through rose-colored glasses, and you end up kind of missing what it really was.
3 miles, you're going to take a left onto 80, or merge left onto 80. NASCAR should have a Constructors Championship, like F1, for all the full-time teams. If you finish last, you get the most money. If you finish first, you get no money.
NASCAR doesn't want to give out any money. I'll just say that. I can understand the idea. I don't think NASCAR is going to give out any extra money. And to incentivize placing lower, I don't think that's good either. Because if you're second to last, why not just go for last? Like, you know, I don't know. That's where I'm a little more on edge.
Oh, the guy that's running Killer Racing's driver number 65.
Oh, you're going to drive? Awesome. Well, I hope you do well. I'm going to be honest. I hope you put the work in. That's what's going to help you get better. Just put that work in. Soak up every little piece of information you can. Because everyone else is going to try and do the same, and they're going to outwork you if you don't.
What tracks do you think need to get bulldozed or replaced?
Oh, that's a good question. I would bulldoze turns 1 and 2 of Texas. That's for sure. I would bulldoze the playoff system, even though it's not a track. I'd bulldoze it. I would probably bulldoze Dover and put something else on it. Anything else, really. That's a decent track. It just needs some help. It's not quite racy enough. I don't know if I'd bulldoze many others. I honestly, I might bulldoze part of Sonoma. I mean, if we're honest, it's a very mid-range road course. It doesn't have a lot of great technical turns or anything. It's just very meh.
I have a feeling Bristol race may not be good.
It depends. They're doing a short track test with the diffuser. If they take the diffuser off, and they can figure out how to give these cars enough, enough air so that dirty air isn't a huge issue, Bristol's going to be fantastic. But if it's a clean air fest, it may be trouble. But that also being said, I think it's still going to be a great race. Got to remember, in that 550 horsepower package in 2019, when everyone hated the big tall spoiler on the back of it, it wasn't even 550, it was 750. But that big spoiler and all the problems it caused, yet, I'm not gonna lie, Bristol was still great. So, still could be a great race.
I like Daytona and Talladega twice a year.
I could only get on board with that if we got rid of some of the pack racing. I can understand a draft to some point, but the very idea that your only way to win a race is to have a good push behind you, like, it's racing. You're not supposed to have to count on someone else to push you to the win. Because why should I push you when I can try to win it myself? Like, it's just, I don't know. That's my issue. Like, I love Gen 4 pack racing because they couldn't just shove each other all over the racetrack. They had to be technical with it. And now they just punt each other into corners with no issue. So that's where I would like to see improvement. But otherwise, I don't have an issue with the tracks themselves. It's just the racing style turning into a crapshoot.
2 miles, you're going to exit to get on 35. Who should MTJ drive for?
Martin Truex is going to drive for Joe Gibbs until he decides to call it quits. I think there's a good chance that maybe at the end of this year, but I mean, what a resurgence in his career. I mean, the guy went through half his career with only like 2 wins, over half his career, and then boom, in a 5 to 8 year window, he goes and wins a championship in like 30 some races. It's incredible, the turnaround he had.
Favorite race for truck, Xfinity, and Cup?
So my favorite truck race would be Knoxville so far. My favorite Xfinity race would probably be Charlotte. I think Charlotte was a stellar race. My guy Noah, or actually Brett was not. Brett's my guy, Noah's my boy. So Noah was down a cylinder, still finished 4th. I thought that was incredible, just because he rode the wall so good. And I thought it was incredible to watch Allgaier and Barry battle. I just thought it was a fun, old-school style race that it just played out great. And then for Cup Series, I would say my favorite race would probably have to be Kansas. I know I was there, so I have my bias, but for the love of God, I hate green-white checkers at this point. There's too damn many of them. So that race, going to having like a good battle to the end that doesn't end with a green-white checker, I'd say Kansas. Sonoma was good too, but I just think Sonoma as a road course, having issues with dirty air is just so upsetting.
Do you think Truex is going to announce retirement this week?
I don't know if he'll announce it this week. I do think this is Truex's last season.
The Xfinity Series needs to be the way it was in the early 90s. Many short tracks. I don't know what happened, but I hope they put more short tracks on Xfinity. And Iowa and Richmond.
Iowa is Richmond.
Iowa is Richmond.
Iowa is a 7/8 mile, so it's under a mile, so it's actually smaller than Dover. But I think Xfinity can race on big tracks, just not all the time. I think trucks, honestly, should be strictly short track based. I don't think they need to race on these big tracks. It doesn't produce great racing, and these guys are just downright reckless with it. So I would honestly say that the trucks are what you think Xfinity should be. Xfinity is fine where it is. I think Xfinity as a series is doing absolutely great because they are grooming talent. There are people in that series that draw a crowd. I mean, I am disappointed that I have yet to see Noah Gragson race this year. This was my first race getting to watch Brett Moffitt race this year. Like, I have guys in the Xfinity series I root for. I want to see how they do. And so if they can get a little more longevity in that series, that's the biggest thing that hurt. The Xfinity series struggles when you don't have consistent drivers. Xfinity series had Chase Elliott. Oh, sweet, we can watch it. Oh, he's gone. Oh, now they've got Christopher Bell. Well, he's fun. Well, Andy's gone. He's up in the Cup Series now. Like, these guys are in and out of the series so much, you don't have any, continuity. You don't have anything to build off of. Like, where's the rivalry when the guy disappears to another series? So that is the only thing, is they need to be able to get a few more drivers that stick around for a while before they move up, or just stay there career long-wise. Frankly, Matt DiBenedetto is an Xfinity caliber driver. That's where he belongs, at least until he wins a bunch of races. Then maybe he can go back. But there are guys that belong in that series because they're low-caliber Cup talent, but they can win races and win championships in that series, and frankly, that's what they should do.
NASCAR needs to figure out the short tracks with the next-gen car. There was one lead change at Martinsville, and I'm pretty sure it was on pit road or a restart.
It was a restart. That was it. The problem with Martinsville, there was a number of them. There's too much grip in the tires, too much mechanical grip. These cars break way too easily. They launch too easily when you're shifting, so basically they said you could totally screw up a corner and then just shift your car and you're good. You can just drive off. So there's a lot of things that they needed to do better with at Martinsville, but really the car itself is not going to do well at short tracks until they add a little more horsepower and take a little bit of the grip away from those tires.
Love seeing Moffitt make his way up to the lead, then to see him get screwed over with the penalty. Still really gutted for him. Was really hoping he'd have a chance to win tonight.
He was going to win tonight. I'm mistaken, he was going to win this race. I didn't see him get past once, and that truck was gone. I mean, he doesn't pass through and stays on the lead lap because the pass through, there's such a small infield that you literally can pass through and not lose a lap. But he drove away from the leaders again once he got out. He was the best truck, and he got totally screwed because NASCAR doesn't know how to look at a frickin' picture.
Do you think Deacon has a future in truck or in Cup? And do you think Ty Gibbs will get the 19 if Truex retires?
I do not think they're going to move. I don't think they're going to move Gibbs up.
He's confirmed for 1 more year.
He's confirmed in Xfinity, but I don't think they're going to move him up. They know better. They saw what happened to Joey Logano. I don't think they want to do that again. And I don't think he's mature enough for the Cup Series. I don't think Cup drivers would treat him well if he acts the way he does up in that series. I mean, it would not go well for him. So, yeah, I would say they're probably going to go with somebody that has Cup experience, but somebody that they think they can get a kind of a 1-year deal on or something. I don't know who that's going to be, but I mean, the door's always open, so I don't think it'll be him. I pray to God that it's not Brandon Jones. Please do not reward mediocrity with a Cup ride. I mean, look at Harrison Burton. He was basically a slightly better Brandon Jones, and look what he's doing. Nothing.
What is your favorite road course?
Oh, that's a good question. My favorite road course would probably be, I gotta say, I think Watkins Glen. I think Watkins Glen is the best road course. It's a high-speed road course, couple of good hard passing zones, but just, man, Watkins Glen's like a high, I don't know, it's a fast road course. I think Watkins Glen would be my favorite.
Truck Tech complete, no issues.
I don't really care. I mean, Todd Gilliland isn't even in the series and he won, so it's like, whatever.
I don't know what NASCAR thinks to gain by axing Road America. Already killed Chicagoland for temporary fan base just for like a month. Just insufferable at this point.
It's just NASCAR doing their thing. I mean, I'm sorry, but if a guy wasn't willing to drive an hour out of the city to a NASCAR race, how in the world do you think they're going to become lifelong fans? Like, I just don't understand that logic. The idea that, like, we're going to force you to watch it because we're going to put it on the street in front of you, and if you don't like it, well, we'll start taking more races away from people who do. And yeah, that'll get them. Like, it's such flawed logic. Like, people have been clamoring for a race in certain areas, and you're just like, yeah, you're not trendy enough. Yeah, that really helps.
2014 rule package is how you do high downforce correctly.
It's, I would say yes to a point. Like, yes, but it's not the downforce that made that racing great. It was 950 horsepower. Like, 950 horsepower would have been good on any race car. Like, I don't think people realize if they had done 2015 with the low downforce and not cut the horsepower, that racing would have been incredible. And yet, we ended up with just mediocrity because, you know, power is bad.
Myrtle Beach Speedway is officially gone. Dale Jr. posted some pictures of what remains on Instagram.
Yep. Too many people moved up next to the racetrack, then they wanted to bulldoze it to make more housing because race cars are loud. I bought a house next to a racetrack and it's too loud. They should shut it down. COVID.
Thoughts on Kyle Busch getting a documentary for theaters? I can't see.
I'll go watch it. I'm interested.
It's only in Nashville.
Oh, wow, that's dumb. I mean, his 2015 season was something else. I'd definitely be interested to learn more about it. But, I don't know. I feel like it would be better after his career.
They have a door number of Justin Allgaier from Charlotte. The side he hit the wall.
So. Oh, yeah, he still finished in the top 10. He had to pit and came out and still finished in the top 10. That's how much of a runaway that race was.
Do you think Chase Elliott should do his store as a sponsor?
No, it's not necessary. His branding is in the driver's seat, so it's not really valuable. Like, Rowdy Energy makes a little more sense because you can go buy a Rowdy Energy, but the Chase Elliott store, like, you already have to be a fan to buy from that, so putting it on the race car that he drives isn't going to change much. I
like green-white checker finishes, but there have been way too many.
No! I'm sorry. Go ahead, read the rest.
There have been too many of them.
All right, fair. You redeemed yourself. Yes, you are 100% right. Like, they used to be a treat where it's like, oh, look at this, that's a treat. And then now it's just like, it's every effing race. What was the count? I want to know. Somebody look this stat up. Maybe you guys already have it. How many races this year between all three series have ended with a green-white checker? If that number is anywhere even close to 50%, that is an abomination to racing.
At Gateway, they said 6. Of Cup, the Cup one.
Gateway, the Cup Series ended with a green-white checker, didn't it?
So
no, it was a late race restart. I know that much. But Gateway ended like really close. The trucks ended that way. Like, I want a long run to the finish. Not a super long run, but I'm okay with a 25, 30, 40, heck, even a 100 lap run to the finish. Instead, we always have to have like we're going to have a restart within 10 to go. At every single racetrack. Ugh.
You think NASCAR should limit overtime attempts like they used to?
No, I think NASCAR has a problem of having itchy trigger fingers inside 10 to go. And frankly, I just think that you got to do everything you can to you only throw the caution if you have to, but sometimes incidents happen. That's what it is. But there are incidents, and you can go look at them, where they threw a caution that just did not need to be thrown, and it creates more chaos. I mean, you know, at some point, maybe you go back away from the green-white checker and you just say leader of the race wins it because he put himself in the right position, and the laps spread out. Like, I would rather the guy running first with 2 to go wins the race than gets wrecked on the restart and doesn't finish. I would rather that happen. Finish under yellow than him getting wrecked on the next restart. I would much rather see that. I don't even care if it's Joey Logano. Like, I've seen the guy win a lot. I don't like him that much. But even if, like, my least favorite Cup driver wins the race because of the thing finishing under yellow, I would rather see that than him get just destroyed on a restart.
What hurts more, Hocevar or Moffitt?
Moffitt. It's not even close. Like, sorry, Hocevar dropped so early in the race that there was so much more to go. Now, if that happened with 10 to go, that'd be tough. But the Moffitt one hurt so bad because it was NASCAR's fault. Like, if it'd be one thing if he jumped in the middle of 3 and 4, but he's in the restart zone. Like, it's literally like a referee throwing a flag for holding before the play even starts. And then you're like, ref, that's idiotic. The play didn't start. How can you throw that flag? And then the ref just looks and goes, I can do whatever I want. I'm the ref. And then that's it. That's the end of the story. Like, I'm sorry, but that team, AMS, has not ever won a race, I don't think. And if they had been able to win a race, that would have been huge. AMS, it might be AMR. AMR Racing? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
But that team has never won a race. And frankly, they should be able to appeal that penalty this week, and NASCAR should look at that and say, we were wrong. We are fining ourselves and paying the team this much money because we screwed up. That's what should happen. I'm sorry, NASCAR, you ruined someone's race because of your own fault. You have to own that. Oh, that ticks me off. Anyway, sorry. What's next?
Who's more likely to retire Truex or Harvick?
Truex.
Harvick said he's racing for, 4 more years?
No, not 4. Harvick's got at least a couple left yet. I think he's still having fun. I think his son getting into racing has kind of brought back a little of the joy for it. So I think Harvick's got at least 2 years left. I think Truex is done after this one.
NASCAR should make the Cup Series 900 horsepower for all tracks.
The Cup Series should absolutely make 900 horsepower. Now, you know what? I'm going to stop you there. The Cup Series should not be 900 horsepower on road courses and short tracks. If you look at the Gen 6, 750 horsepower is kind of a good sweet spot. The road courses were stellar, and so were the short tracks. Like, I'm okay with a little less short power on short tracks, and here's why. Because when you're racing and you're kind of banging fenders and you're getting nudged and gouged, too much horsepower, all of that nudging and gouging turns into wrecks constantly. Where a little less horsepower helps them keep those cars under them, and they can do a little more of that rooting and gouging, and it makes for the better racing. So at the big track, you need higher horsepower because it essentially makes that big track race more like a short track. Once you get down to that short track, you don't need all that power because it's such a small track, you can get by on less.
Noah Gregson signed 3 things for me on 2 separate occasions. At Auto Club, he knew it was me those 3 times.
Noah's awesome. Noah is one of the best guys coming up. And I think he's going to do fine. I don't know. I don't see him doing a lot of truck racing or racing as much as he can. Like, I want my guys to do what Ross Chastain did. Race every car you can get your hands on. You know, if you have an off weekend, sure, but whatever. But if you're at the racetrack and you can climb into a race car and get laps, do it. Like, get as many laps under your belt as possible. And that's the only thing that, I don't know. It's the same thing Bubba did. Bubba got to the Xfinity Series, and then he just stopped racing trucks. And then he got to the Cup Series, and he completely stopped racing Xfinity. Like, I get it to a point, but, I mean, at some point, like, you're still not an established veteran. Like, go race as much stuff as you can. Get better, get as much experience as you can. That makes you better. So, I think Noah's great. I would like to see more of that because, you know, it makes you better. I mean, I don't see a lot of people that run on Saturdays that don't look better on Sundays.
Do you think RCR or 2311 will ever try to expand so guys like Noah will have a cup?
I think Noah would be on their radar. I personally think Noah is either going to be with Cobb or Junior Motorsports. I mean,
Trackhouse would be nice.
Trackhouse, I would love for him to land at Trackhouse. I think Trackhouse is one of the best teams out there. They are doing things the right way. But if it wasn't Trackhouse, the 19 car opens up for Gibbs, I wouldn't mind seeing him in that seat.
In your opinion, where is the best place to have a street course?
Oh, that's a good one. You gotta have it in a scenic place. Chicago is not scenic. I'm sorry. It's an ugly city. It's a historic city. Like, don't get me wrong, it's historic, but it ain't pretty. Nobody talks about the beautiful Chicago skyline. Like, it has to be iconic. New York can get away with it. New York's iconic. I mean, Chicago's kind of iconic, but I'm going to say New York's better. Miami, obviously, they're on the coast. Long Beach is a good one. But anywhere where you can get beautiful scenery, because you can't see, so you may as well have it look good.
Do you think Jimmy Johnson will ever race in the Cup Series again?
Yes, I think he's going to do the double. Maybe not next year, but I think he's going to do the double at least once in his career.
The Roval is the best road course.
No. The Roval is a fun road course. Do not get me wrong. It is fun. But it is a compact cluster in a lot of moments. Like, I'm sorry, the way they do restarts because of the chicane is stupid. You shouldn't ever change the course for restarts versus non-restarts. If the course can't handle a chicane, don't have a chicane. So, again, it's not a bad racetrack. It's entertaining and fun, but Watkins Glen is just a great road course.
You got a perfectly fine track up in Joliet, waiting while NASCAR chases something that is never going to happen.
Yep. You got a great track in Newton, Iowa. You got a great track in Joliet. There's a track up in Milwaukee. Milwaukee? It's like 20 minutes north of Chicago. You know that city? Maybe it's an hour. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
It's not far. Miles up there. It's historic. There's all these places. We need to be in downtown Chicago. Let's go get everybody shot. Woohoo!
Does NASCAR have something like penalty points in F1 where if you accumulate too many, you get parked for a race?
I don't think so, no. They just think you drove aggressively or something.
The Kyle Busch documentary looks extremely cringy.
Well, that's unfortunate. I hope it's not, but it wouldn't surprise me that someone's out for a money grab, so they put a bad piece of art together.
I used to like pack racing, like the playoffs and green white checkers, but pack racing is just too crazy dangerous. Someone with this car is gonna get killed. The playoffs make no sense because Cody Ware could win Daytona.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. And you know what? Here's what I will do. I congratulate you. You have joined us as a motorsports fan. You are no longer just a NASCAR fan. You are a fan of motorsports. You understand the value of the integrity of a race. And that is when you graduate. The problem, I will say it, the problem with NASCAR fans is they will root for anything chaotic. If they see a car flipping down the front stretch, they will sit there and say, wow, that's crazy. And then half of them will say, that's awesome. We should make them all flip down the front stretch. Yeah! Yeah, those fans are just stupid. But, again, crashes happen. There's nothing wrong with that. It's something to see. But when you're sitting there rooting for the leader to just go barrel rolling down the front stretch, because it'd be awesome. Like, no, you're not a motorsports fan. You're just a NASCAR. I don't want to say NASCAR. You're just a chaos fan. All right, what's next?
Oh, that one continued and not even be up there for the rest of the year. Greenwood checkers are too dangerous, and these entertainment factors. I feel like these races should end if the caution flies within 5 to go.
5 to go. That's a hard. It depends on the track. If it's big enough, no. Honestly, I think the number should be 3 to go. If it's inside 3 to go, the race is over. Because, in my opinion, once you've hit 3 to go, you are in a position to either win or not win. You know, if you're only 10th, you're not in a position to win. That's your race. Like, that's where it's at. And you can live with that, and you should be able to live with that. What I can't live with is having guys leading with 2 to go, they get wrecked and get nothing out of their day.
What's your favorite NASCAR game?
Oh, good one. So my favorite game, all right, let me two-part this question. My favorite game, like in terms of the fun of the game, NASCAR Thunder or NASCAR 2005, that's what it is. NASCAR 2005 Chase for the Cup. My favorite driving game, like the way it raced, was NASCAR like 13, 14, 12, whatever that whole generation. They were all pretty good. But that generation was a fun generation to race on. So I thought the problem with the EA Sports games, they didn't race well except for Daytona and Talladega. They really didn't race that good. But I think it's Eutechnyx or something. Eutechnyx games raced well everywhere. They were really fun to race on, but they just didn't have a lot of stuff in the game. Like NASCAR Thunder you would end up racing on street courses, fantasy tracks, Thunder plates. You'd have all this stuff to do. So if you could have that gaming experience mixed with the racing quality of the Eutechnyx games, you've got a masterpiece. Okay, what's our next one?
Since Chase Elliott likes the Georgia Bulldogs, he should drive a Georgia Bulldogs car in Atlanta.
He should run a Braves or Bulldog. Like, I just think one of the teams should hop on board. I mean, you know, go home. Like, that's something that NASCAR also needs to delve into a little more. Like, they're all in the same region. And there's something about having a hometown team. It matters. Like, I mean, I went to Knoxville. I was going to go anyway. But I was much more excited when hometown guy Brett Moffitt was going to be there. I was like, oh, cool. Like, we've got some hometowners. That's awesome. And, you know, I went to see it. And there was, you know, there's a different, like, he got more cheers than he would at most racetracks. And then you'd look at the same thing with, like, race teams. I would love it if, like, Nashville, which is where Trackhouse is going to be based at some point, Nashville is the home race for Trackhouse. And then you've got another one based out of Martinsville and one based out of Bristol. And then, oh, look, you've opened up a team in the Midwest. Then they've got Kansas as their home race. Like, that's cool to have home races at different racetracks for different teams.
Crazy to think that Talladega was the only Cup race this year that went a whole final stage caution-free.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't even realize that.
That's nuts. Well, if we're honest, most of them were caused by left rear flats. So... But that's actually kind of... Well, here's another weird stat. The last caution-free race was Talladega. What the heck?
Like, no natural cautions?
Yeah, no cautions at all.
Are you...
Talladega,
No.
like, before stage racing, they didn't use to throw cautions for no reason. They used to have a reason. So, yes, it was 2010, or somewhere before that. But Talladega was the last caution-free race. That's nuts.
Huh. A hot take for the 19th in 2023 if Truex retires. Trevor Bayne, Matty D, or a part-time stint for the 19th.
Oh, I don't like any of those. They're not going to do a part-time stint. You can't afford to do that. You have to have a chance at the playoffs. If you don't, you're just wasting everyone's time.
But Colleague's doing it.
Yeah, but Colleague isn't competitive. How's Justin Haley running? So, you're going to have a full-timer in there. John Hunter Nemechek seems like a good option. Obviously, I will always vote for homeboy Brett Moffitt. That guy deserves an opportunity and a quality ride. Denny Hamlin seems like a friend of his. Go to bat for him. Get him in that car. Otherwise, Noah would be a dark horse. Josh Berry could be a dark horse. Ty Gibbs is obviously a potential option. I don't know that Toyota really has a lot of other options waiting in the wings. Yeah, I mean, those would be the guys I think. John Hunter, I think I already said his name, but yeah, he'd be another one. Wow, that feels good.
Haley Deegan doesn't ever go forward in a race, always sinks back and finishes mid-pack at best.
I think I would like to see her run a couple of Xfinity races just to see how she adapts. I have listened to her on the radio, and their team is not helping her. And I mean, I don't mean it like they're not trying to help her. They're just, what they're doing is not helping her. They are making her drive timidly. You know, watch your toes, keep it easy, back out of trouble. And it's the truck series. There's always trouble. You have to learn how to run in the trouble if you want to win. And that's where I think I have a problem. Like, TJ Majors is not a bad spotter. He's not. But when I hear, like, they're trying to, like, coax it down and make it like, don't get yourself in a bad spot here. Just back out of that. Like, don't do that. Like, you have to know how to run it in a little bit of an iffy spot, because that's how you're going to win races. You have to be able to put your truck in questionable spots. Is that the question? I don't remember the question.
Yes.
Okay, close
kind
enough.
Of.
I couldn't
Kind of.
remember your question. I went off on a tangent. This is why rants are fun.
I feel like there's not any big rival. I can't say that word anymore.
Rivalries?
Yeah, thank you. Friendly like Gordon and Dale, and unfriendly like Kenseth and Logano anymore.
What? Dude, Ross Chastain and Denny Hamlin literally have beef that is not it's not even settled. It's still raw beef. It's not even cooked. We got raw beef coming our way.
The Chastain
I mean,
buffet.
We got Chastain is going to get wrecked at a race later this year, or punted out of the groove, or something. Something is going to happen to Chastain later this year, and it's because of the way he drives. Joey Logano and William Byron aren't even. The only problem is I don't think William Byron has the balls to do anything about it. I could be wrong. Please, William Byron, if you're listening, I'm honored, but also do something. Because otherwise you've proven you can be walked on. And if you're walked on, you'll never be able to be a champion because people will just walk all over you. So yeah, I think we've got some rivalries. I think the problem is they play out on social media instead of kind of in on the camera. That kind of gets the fans going at it. But I think social media actually kind of hurts rivalries a little bit.
What are the odds Junior moves his team up to Cup also?
I think the odds are more likely if the opportunity is valuable. I think the problem is NASCAR does not split their revenue very well, and so it's literally not very profitable to run a team unless you have the sponsorship. So unless the sponsorship is there or NASCAR is going to fix their revenue model, I don't think he'll be up there. Denny Hamlin was on the Dale Jr. Download a few weeks ago. Go listen to that one. He gives great insight into why Cup teams need a little bit more to be functioning, because the way they're doing it now, if you don't have a charter, you essentially get like no paycheck at the end of the race. You get like nothing. They basically, and I don't mean it's like less because of you're not finishing well. You can win a race, and if you don't have a charter, you earn less money than the guy that finishes second. It's stupid.
Suarez replaced Hocevar at Sonoma, and the truck's then won the running Cup. That kind of proves that more laps help.
Yeah, I mean, I think more laps help. I mean, if we're honest, Daniel Suarez drove a great race at Sonoma, but by no means was he the best car all day. He was good. He's a solid car. He did what he had to do to win the race, stayed out of trouble, hit all his marks. Great. He did everything that he needed to do. But for sure, the laps on Saturday helped him on Sunday. I'm a firm believer in that.
I remember Noah was a Toyota prospect before he left KBM in 2018.
What does that check?
What?
When did that check? There's a tag on
11:48.
it. Ooh, 12 minutes away. That's not
When
bad.
do you want me to skip?
No, just keep going. All right, so yeah, no, I don't think Noah's super loyal to any brand or manufacturer. I don't think any of them are really loyal to him. So he could go to about any manufacturer, and I don't think it'll matter. Bass Pro Shops is already on the 19, so that's something to look at. Black Rifle, I think, was also on the 19 a couple weeks ago, so they're already over there. So there is a possibility that could be a landing spot for him.
Cleveland would be an amazing street course.
Oh, I don't know, man. Cleveland doesn't have a reputation of being beautiful. It doesn't mean it's not a good city. I just don't know. I'm not a fan of street courses, if we're honest. If you have a street course, there has to be really nice long stretches, good long curves to run on. Frankly, I think an interstate race would be really kind of fun. Like, not that interstates are great, but when you have those kind of tight winding exit ramps and stuff like that where there's, you actually roll some decent speed in them, I think that could be fun. But the problem with street courses is generally they have to keep the speeds down, so they just don't race that good.
Scrap one lug wheel. These are awful low-profile tires. They are... Oh, and these awful low-profile tires, they are a disaster.
Who said that?
Mark 63.
Mark, welcome to the club. 5 lug wheels and tires with interliners. Welcome to the club. We are the advanced humans who have learned from mistakes of the past, and we choose to correct them. Unfortunately, there are too many imbeciles that run the sport that choose not to learn from their mistakes. We shall run the sport someday, but first we will have to take them over.
Oh. NASCAR needs to choose either Daytona 500 and Daytona Road Course or 2 Daytona Super Speedway races.
You know what? I actually have thought of that. I think NASCAR should race on the Daytona Road Course 2 weeks before the Daytona 500 as the opening race. I do not think the Daytona 500 has to be the opening race. I don't. I think you actually help build hype for an event by having build-up. And the problem is NASCAR literally now qualifies on Wednesday. Not build-up. They're doing the opposite. Look at the Indy 500. It's massive. Qualifying is an entire weekend. And there's a reason for that. It's building up the event. NASCAR's like, you know what? No practice, no qualifying. Let's just draw out of a hat and show up one day and race. It's like, that's not a big event. So I think they should race at Daytona Road Course. I think it should be 2 weeks before the race. And then that next Sunday is qualifying. And then the next Sunday is the race with the duels on the Thursday or Wednesday, whenever you want to do it. So that's my opinion.
Former KHI driver Cale Gale tested a race car at North Wilkesboro on June 1st.
Cool. Wait, which kind of race car? Did they say?
No. National Fairgrounds might get something soon, but the parking there is awful since they built a new soccer stadium.
See, that's what I'm worried about. Like, if you don't have the infrastructure at the racetrack, you shouldn't host until you're ready. And I think that's a fair way to go about it. Like, Iowa is not ready for a cup race. I'm fine with that. They're not ready yet. But after this year's Indy race, put a little money into the track and get it ready to go. The parking is fine. There's enough parking there. There needs to be a couple more bathrooms probably added in. Concession stands, add a couple more, or bring in food trucks like Gateway did. What's the fastest way to build a concession stand? Bring one in and park it there. So there's solutions. They just got to use them.
The NASCAR Truck Series should come to West Virginia Motorsport Speedway.
I mean, it's got to be able to hold at least like 10,000, 20,000 people. If it can hold at least that many, then absolutely. The Truck Series was meant for short tracks. The Truck Series should not race on any track bigger than a mile. They do not belong at Daytona. I'm not even going to say I'm sorry. No, the trucks do not belong at Daytona. They are dangerous. The drivers are inexperienced. It just simply doesn't belong there. That series needs to run completely separate from the Cup schedule, minus short tracks and a couple road courses.
What do you think about the new diecast looks?
I am intrigued. I want to wait until I see an Elite. I'm a little skeptical on the rims. They seem a little cheap looking.
I mean, they are in the real cars anyway.
Yeah, they're on the real car too, so it doesn't really help. But the engine detail's not great on the real car either. So there's a couple of things like that. So the reason I say the Elite is you will be able to remove the underbody from the Elite, and it should show suspension detail. That's what I'm interested in. If I can have a moving suspension on the Elite, I will be far happier.
Imagine Denny and Chastain in the Final Four and Denny dumps him on the first lap.
I mean, yeah, that would be some pretty good beef. Like, you want to talk about a rivalry, that'd be one way to do it, and everyone's going to cry their eyes out if that's how it plays out. You know, they're going to cry their eyes out, but the fact was, Denny had one in the bank, and he went in and cashed the check. Don't write checks you can't cash. It's the old saying, I think. I don't know. We don't do checks anymore. We're a new society.
I vote Timmy Hill for the 19.
The Timidator! Yes. Okay, maybe not. I would like to see Timmy Hill in something better, though. BJ McLeod!
I feel like nobody's talking about Carl Edwards possibly returning to the 19.
Yeah, NASCAR cut the horsepower even lower. He's totally coming back.
Oh, I'm sure he loves stage racing.
I'm sure he loves gimmicky stage racing and low horsepower and like garbage yellows and a playoff system. I'm sure he's all about that.
Highest finishing Toyota for Sonoma was 26, and that was Hamlin.
It was 18.
18. Oh, it was 18.
It was 18th. But yes, they did not have a good day. Now, to be fair, though, at the end of the race, Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr. pitted just to try and catch him off on strategy.
I think Kyle Busch, too.
No, Kyle got spun. I shouldn't say that. He locked up his wheels and spun. But, yeah, they did not run well by any stretch. But they also, those look artificially bad because they intentionally put themselves back there gambling on strategy.
I refuse to pay $60 for the new diecast from Lionel. The quality is bad in recent years. Problem is they have no competition. They're only manufacturer of diecast.
Dude, I get it. I totally get it. That's why I'm okay with the elites for now. But honestly, I am not dead set on continuing to collect a boatload of cars. Like, I am satisfied with the 2017 elites. They are good quality cars. I'm not really satisfied with 18 and newer elites, so we'll see where they're at. I mean, I'll still have the site and I'll still do some reviews, but I think my personal collection is going to be a lot smaller when it comes to next gens, just unless they blow me out of the water with something cool.
I was in Nashville the weekend before the IndyCar street race. Like, half the roads have barriers and catch fences on them.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of work. To set up a Grand Prix through a street course, that takes a ton of work. And you're going to think that the crazy city of Chicago, with as wild and silly as their politics get, you think they're going to want to set that up and do all that work? I'm not going to lie. If this street course happens to totally axe Road America, I really hope that Chicago doesn't get their crap together, screws over NASCAR, doesn't get the race ready in time, and then Road America doesn't even invite NASCAR back. Because I'm sure they wouldn't do that, but man, Road America deserves better. They did a good job, and they showed NASCAR, we will promote your product well, and NASCAR gave them the middle finger for it.
There's a car on the side of the road if you can get over. There's a car up here on the side of the road. You might want to switch over lanes. I'm just worried. I don't know. Hazard bump. Yeah. West Virginia Motorsport Speedway is a dirt bank oval.
Oh, yeah, no, sorry. The trucks, well, no, you'd have to have enough seats. You know what? I think I've seen that. Is that the one where there's no grandstands? It's like cement platforms in a hillside? Because if that's the racetrack, that is a iconic and cool racetrack, but good Lord, people are going to fall down the hill a lot trying to get back to their cars.
Someone say, great jobs on the cameras, Fox.
I've been saying that for a year now. The amount of times Fox would show a shot and then just zoom in. Like, instead of Mazda, it'll just be Fox Sports. Zoom, zoom.
Do you think NASCAR will ever race in Canada again?
I think they will. I think maybe not Canadian Tire, but Montreal's still an option. And frankly, NASCAR needs to race in Canada. I mean, our neighbors to the north, there are fans up there, and they deserve to have a race up there at some point. Because when NASCAR's in Canada, it's going to be a big deal that NASCAR's racing in Canada. I can assure you they will put the right promotion forward to try and get fans to that racetrack. But I believe Canada would have to drop some of their vaccine mandates and crap like that, because NASCAR does not force people to be vaccinated for the vaccine that, I'm not going to say anything, I think YouTube bans people from crap, but if we're being honest, it's not that great.
Jack Wood versus Brian Scott versus Chris Wright versus Danica Patrick, who would win?
Oh gosh. The Wall? Maybe? Honestly, I would say Danica Patrick. Danica Patrick was not a bad driver. She just couldn't race. I've said it before, she can race, she can drive a car, she can't race it. So she can drive a good lap time, she can put a car on the edge and race it pretty hard, but what she can't do is race with guys left and right of her and kind of fine-tune that racecraft. That was just not her strong suit. And when I say she can't do it, she couldn't do it at that same elite level that she could drive the car at.
If NASCAR does a street course, it needs to be LA or New York.
If NASCAR does a street course, it needs to be a street course in an iconic historical place or a street course that has a very unique layout. So I don't know where that would be, but those are the options.
The last time NASCAR used the 65 in Cup was 1993, drove by Jerry O'Neill.
That is a random fact that I'm actually fascinated with. I cannot believe that a number like that, it's like 65 is not a crazy number, but it hasn't been used in that long. That's actually nuts.
Danica had a lot of potential in IndyCar, but she wanted the money from NASCAR.
I mean, you can't blame her. She took the right career move, money-wise and everything. And like I said, I don't think the potential was in either place. The biggest thing about IndyCar is it was so hard to pass. Like, you had to get such a good run to pass anyone. In NASCAR, it's so much easier to pass that you had to be comfortable running inches off a guy on your outside. That just wasn't Danica Patrick's thing. She didn't like to stuff it in the middle where you might not get out on the other side clean.
What is your opinion on the canceled NASCAR LR series?
What? LR? I don't know what that is. You'll have to tell. I don't know what you're referring to. Is it like a racing series or like a? Yeah, I guess you'll have to explain that one further. I don't know what the LR series is.
They should bring a street race to Oklahoma City, I think. Is that OKC?
Yeah, OKC's Oklahoma City.
We have the best ranch.
Yeah. OKC's, it's a good city. I've been there, but I mean, I don't remember much of it, if I'm being honest. That's why I said New York. The reason you can get away with it is I remember New York. I remember a lot of New York. Times Square, so iconic. You know how cool it would be to have a hairpin turn in Times Square? Oh my gosh, that'd be awesome.
Oh, the NASCAR Left-Right series. It was a type of car made for street racing when NASCAR was exploring that in the 80s.
Oh. Honestly, the Pinty series is really solid. They have a good car up there. So I don't know if the series is really the issue, because I think stock cars generally just aren't as good on road courses consistently. But that being said, like, honestly, look at SRX. They're doing it right. They're going to the right racetracks. Like, they built a cheap, good car, and it does a good job. It puts on solid racing. Like, that's what you need.
Bring back the NASCAR convertible series?
No, that's never coming back.
The West Virginia Motorsports seating for Terrace Hillside space for fans for a total seating around 95 to 10,000 people.
Wow.
Not 95.
9,500.
Yeah, it's like
that's still good.
Now.
No, it's a unique and it's a cool track. I definitely want to go there at some point. I just the way that it's laid out makes me wonder, like, how accessible is it to? I mean, let's be honest, everybody. NASCAR fans are not the healthiest people in the world. I mean, we've seen mobility scooters. We've seen people that shouldn't walk upstairs. We've seen people that can't walk upstairs. You know what? Some people have health conditions. I get it. But let's be fair. This is America. Some people are just fat pigs. That's okay. We can accept that. But we have to also understand that that those people are part of the fan base. And if you make a track that hard or that inaccessible to them, it may not bode well. But yeah, I mean, I do want to see a race there. I don't think a cup race would be. I think you said truck race. I just think a truck race. You know what? I won't say it. I think truck race could possibly work.
SRX diecast when? Are they making them?
I haven't heard anything. I don't know that. I don't think they want them made in China. I think they want to find somebody who can make them in America. Which, in case you haven't noticed, nobody works anymore. or I should say nobody works, but everything's kind of gone haywire. The country's in disarray. The apocalypse is coming. Rain, fire from above. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I don't see it happening this year.
Whatever happened to Paul Menard?
And went on and lived his life and just, quietly observes everything from Wisconsin.
Oh, the West Virginia one's right off a highway.
Yeah, but it's not really the highway that's the issue. Like, it is good. It's good for traffic. It's more just having it's like Bristol. You see all the infrastructure around Bristol that helps fans get in and out, up and down the hills and all that. Like, generally, you're going to need golf carts, and with how steep I've seen those hillsides, you're going to need some pretty good climbers. Again, it's a very unique track. I do like it. I do think it would need a lot of help before it's ready to host that big of an event.
We need more sponsors that sponsor the whole season. The most iconic sponsors have done that are DuPont, Lowe's, Good Wrench, etc.
FedEx. Let's be honest, FedEx sponsored Denny Hamlin for a long time, and he's probably the most recent where you see that level of dedication from a sponsor. Ally obviously was another one.
M&M's.
But M&M's didn't sponsor the whole thing though. They allowed other sponsors on. But the problem is drivers are the ones being sponsored now, where teams used to get sponsored. It was the 36 M&M's car driven by Kenny Schrader, Kenny Irwin, whoever got in the car. The 24 DuPont car was driven by Jeff Gordon. The team, though, that was a team. Just like the 11 Budweiser car was driven by Bill Elliott, Darrell Waltrip, and a number of other guys. Like, it was the sponsors would sponsor the team. And once they started sponsoring the drivers, that loyalty really went out the window.
Paul Menard should actually come back to do maybe a full-time stint in either truck or Xfinity. He's a driver of that caliber.
Oh, he's definitely the driver of that caliber, but he's making more money running Menards. Like, probably. I mean, you gotta understand, he's not busy 36 weekends anymore. He's just getting to enjoy life.
Hearing the news about Road America getting taken away for a street course race in Chicago kind of upsets me because I really liked seeing both Xfinity and Cup at Road America last year.
Yeah, don't go. Don't go. Like, when I say don't go, do not go to the Chicago street course. Do not patronize that. Yeah, I shouldn't say that. If you can't go to races, go to what you can. It drives me nuts when NASCAR spits in the fan base, when they spit in the fans' faces. Like, the fans have been spit on enough. Why do you do it again? Like, 100,000 people showed up to that track last year, and they're just gonna axe it? Like, what happens when this 4th of July you see boatloads of campers and the place is just absolutely packed? You're gonna pull that off the schedule? Like, I'm sorry, that's dumb. You can't do that. You cannot pull a successful race off the schedule just to chase a fan base that doesn't even like you.
Do you think Gordon will take over Hendrick after Mr. H?
I think he will run it to an extent. I do not think he will be like the be-all, end-all. I think Chad Knaus will have a stake in it. I think Jeff Gordon will have a stake in it. I think Jimmy Johnson at some point might have a stake in it. So I think there will be like different people that all have different, like, they'll either buy into it or run it to certain degrees.
If you could find a pic of Paul Menard smiling, I will give you a broken diecast.
I don't want the broken diecast, but I don't even think I could do that much research right now.
Who do you think will take over Joe Gibbs?
I think, isn't Coy Gibbs there?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure Coy Gibbs is pretty young yet. I think he'd be in that line of people. A lot of these guys have some succession plan kind of in place already. Whether it's their own family that's going to take over, or they sell it off and kind of put presidents or people that are already in place with higher stakes in it. So, it's like Jack Roush selling to Keselowski. That kind of helps their future. I think Roger Penske will probably have Tim Cindric to some degree, either running it or buying into it to some, I'm not sure how much, but, there will be a succession plan.
What about Road Atlanta? Nobody talks about them.
Yeah, because you have Atlanta Motor Speedway. Like, the problem is when you have two tracks right next to each other, you have to, you don't want them competing with each other. And Atlanta's not losing a date now. So, Road Atlanta is a good racetrack. The problem is not Road Atlanta. The problem is just market space and the fact that there's already a race in Atlanta. Or Hampton, I guess.
The 65 car in Cup never got a win, pole, or finish on the lead lap and ran 93 races.
There is a number out there that has never won a race, won a pole, finished on the lead lap. Yeah. I'm sorry, somebody's got to run that number. Fix that stat.
I wish Chase would have done an Alan Kulwicki throwback when Hooters sponsored him.
He did. He did last year. Look up his 2021 scheme. His 2021... Wait, I can even do better. I'll do you one better. Look at rasdiecast.com. Shameless plug. But, the Elite from last year was... that's a Kulwicki throwback.
The truck should go back to Mansfield.
I don't know where that is, but sure. The truck should be at a lot of smaller tracks.
Do you think Junior will ever do another race? I'm guessing Cup race. He doesn't
I think he's done in Cup. I think he may run Nashville Fairgrounds in Cup if that's the only one there. But I think Xfinity is his baby now.
Do you think we'll ever see another multi-time champ or consecutive champ?
Yeah, I think we'll see him. I definitely think it's going to be hard because we have a format that just doesn't reward that. I mean, if we're honest with ourselves, Kyle Busch would have been a back-to-back champion in 18 and 19. Part of that is just based on the way the schedule or the way that the playoffs can play out and just totally hose you. You used to see a lot of back-to-back champions. You don't see that as much anymore because it's so fluky.
Random fact, Eric Almirola ran one race for Joe Gibbs in 2007 in the 80 car at Las Vegas.
Oh, in the Cup Series. Because I was going to say, he ran in the Xfinity Series and actually won a race with Denny Hamlin behind the wheel at Milwaukee. But that is actually also an interesting thought. I did not know he ran a Cup race for them.
Will we ever see another full owner driver?
Well, technically you have one. Brad Keselowski, technically he's not a half owner. Michael Waltrip was a full owner driver. I don't know. I think it's so hard for one person to own a team anymore.
That's about Road America. Don't like it either, but with NASCAR Chicagoland management being the promoter and I don't know how to pronounce it, of Road America, it makes sense that they want to get it back to Chicago one way or another.
Yes and no. The fact is that what draws a crowd, and you really don't want to piss off an entire section of the fan base for that. It's just not worth it. Just be patient. You only need 2 more years. Just wait 2 years and then you can have both. So, that's my thing, is just have a little patience. I get it. If people weren't showing up to Road America in droves, go ahead, rotate, go every other. I'm fine with that. But if you're selling it out and filling the place up, you just keep giving them, give them a date every year. Until they aren't selling 100,000 seats, you then give them one each year. Until that number drops.
Do you remember when Jimmy Johnson did a truck race at Bristol?
I don't remember it, but I remember pictures of it because it was a pretty good looking truck. He did not finish well though. He's not a great legendary truck driver like Casey Kane, winning 5 of 6 races with an average finish of 1.2.
Random NASCAR fact. NASCAR ran on Road Atlanta in 1986 and 1987.
86 and 87? Mm-hmm. Huh. I'd be interested to see how the cars handle that. I think these new cars would handle that track well. If you have not already, do hit the thumbs up button. We are at 33. So we surpassed the previous Brett Moffitt number of 22. But last year's truck was 37. So let's get to that one, and then I can be satisfied there. And if that doesn't work, we'll go up to 45, because that was also a truck he drove. We're just going to keep going with Moffitt numbers, because he deserved to win tonight.
Do you think Kyle Busch is a championship contender this year? He's pretty consistent and has the best average finish out of everyone.
100%. Kyle Busch is a contender. I think, unfortunately, this car is so, like, you just don't know race to race what you're going to see. So I think it's a lot of people are contenders that could potentially win it. But Kyle Busch is certainly in that group. But I don't think he's not. I just think it's a bigger group than it used to be. I mean, like last year, the championship contenders were about the top 4 that made it. Like, that was kind of your contenders. Those were the 4 big ones. Maybe Truex could have been thrown in there, but those were kind of your main guys. This year, I mean, you could throw 10 different guys in there, and they could all be considered, like, fairly equal contenders.
If the Busch Series ran at Road Atlanta in 86-87.
Oh, okay, or what is Xfinity now? But
yeah. Next gen car is broken like NASCAR 21.
I didn't get that game. It was too broken. Like, I saw how bad the game was and I didn't buy it, so that meme isn't even funny to me. I get why it's funny, but I never even played that game.
F1 is doing street races in Miami and Vegas. We could just double the weekend with them potentially.
No, that's never going to happen. Also, did you see the fake marina in Miami? I'm sorry, that was it was literally Americans will fake anything to look cool because we're just, that's how we are. So yeah, home has a great racetrack. Keep going there. Vegas, you have a racetrack there. Just use that. Now don't get me wrong, a street race on Las Vegas Strip is cool. If you can, now that is a race I will say as well. Like the iconicness of Times Square, the Las Vegas Strip, it's an iconic scene. Having race cars going down the Las Vegas Strip is cool.
Jimmy was great in Cup, but kind of sucked in lower series when he was racing in Cup.
Jimmy Johnson had Chad Knaus. That is all I'm going to say. Chad Knaus, that does not take away from Jimmy Johnson. But what that does say is that Chad Knaus was a legendary crew chief. That doesn't mean his cars were always fast either. He would take strategy. He would use the right tools at the right time to get Jimmy Johnson in a place and in a position to go win. And he could get the job done. So Chad Knaus gets not near enough pace because Jimmy Johnson never won a race without him.
Someone wants to be the moderator.
I'm sorry, I don't have mods yet. Is it bad? Have we had any spams today?
Not that I can tell.
Have we had any hot babes in our area looking for men? That's when you know we're being spammed.
I have not seen it. I'm also half awake, so.
Ooh, look, hot babes in my area. I need to go meet people. Woo-hoo-hoo! What kind of idiot falls for that? Don't fall for it, people!
I feel like Reddick at RCR is like Larson at Ganassi.
Very accurate comparison. Definitely a nice accurate comparison there.
Not everybody knows this, but Jimmy won his first Daytona 500 with Chad suspended. Look it up.
Well, yeah, but the Daytona 500, I knew that. It was Darian Grubb on the box, but that was still Chad's car. Chad got kicked out for running window motors on there. Like, Chad literally got caught cheating. That's why he got thrown out. The car was still fast. Pretty sure his second Daytona 500, he didn't get caught cheating, but we all know he was cheating because he literally said to hit the grass and tear the splitter off it. So we know what happened.
If you could, what would you change on the next gen car?
Hey chat, let him know what I would change. If I could change the next gen car, what single lug thing would I change? Let him know. Let him hear it from the rooftops.
I don't know. You're not very opinionated.
I don't have strong opinions, and I certainly don't voice them. Not loudly. No way would I do that.
I feel like Yahoo might sponsor Busch next year.
I think it'd be a good sponsor. mean, Kyle Busch is the most accomplished driver at the moment.
You would change the NASCAR officiating.
Oh, that's actually not a bad call. That's not a bad response. I'd still change the single lug though, and the interliner. That is a huge problem.
And the horsepower.
But the the officiating though, man. Oh. It's fresh in my mind. Why are you hurting me with that?
Go back to the 5 lug nuts.
There you go, everybody. Glad somebody out there is going to let them know the truth.
I mean, Chad completely changed Byron from 2019, went from missing the playoffs to round of 12.
Yeah, I think, you know what, I think that's right. I couldn't remember if Chad kept the team or if Jimmy kept the team. And then Chad had to rebuild the team. I don't remember, but I think Chad had to rebuild the team. Because Chad's team at that point was actually what was the old Casey Kane team, which was in shambles because Hendrick basically just said, forget the 5 car, who cares? They were running like crap. But, yeah, Chad Knaus did not favor well with stage racing. Stage racing took a lot of the pit strategy out of the game, and that did not help Chad Knaus out. Because they had trouble finding speed after 2015 when they dropped the motor down. Like, I get it, he won a championship. Technically, he won a championship in 2016, but if we're honest with ourselves, that was a fluke. I mean, he was the 4th best car that day, and the seas literally parted for him. So, yeah, Chad Knaus did not do well with the low horsepower package.
Is Interstate Batteries a Kyle Busch sponsor or a Gibbs sponsor?
It is a Gibbs sponsor, but they are still on the 18. They just only have like 5 races a year.
What's your dream broadcast booth from every NASCAR commentator in history?
Ooh, that's good. I would take Alan Bestwick, Larry Mack, and 2003 Darrell Waltrip. And I think people hate Darrell Waltrip for the wrong reason. Darrell Waltrip had energy, but he was not a clown. They did not use Darrell Waltrip as a clown until later on. Before that, he was informative on race cars, informative on race car drivers, and what a driver thinks, and he had a lot of energy, and that energy was fun. The boogity 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 was literally a pure excitement thing. It was iconic for that reason. So I think 2003 Darrell Waltrip was great.
You would also put the number back in the right spot if you could change.
I would do the lugs first. I can handle an ugly looking race car. I cannot handle these cars literally having no chance to catch it and just walloping the wall and knocking the car down. Like, I can't stand watching cars get tore up that had no business getting tore up. Guy will have a flat tire, he's got it caught, and then it's on the rim and he spins around. Like, you got to give these guys a chance to save it at some point. It saves us cautions too.
Someone would change the 1 lug 18-inch wheels and the composite body.
I would change composite body. If I could make one change to the next gen car, what would it be? I would grab the Xfinity car. That's my change. I'm changing cars.
Throw more horsepower on it?
I mean, they already have enough, but I could add more. I could throw 900 in there, 700, 750, 800. All of them would work.
Last year was the first time Hendrick had every car win a race in way too long.
Since probably 2014. I think it was 2014 was the last time. So.
Not everyone won in 2017?
No. Junior didn't win. Chase didn't win. 2016, Chase was a rookie. Chase didn't win. Kane didn't win. Or Junior. None of them won in 2016 besides Johnson. Dang. So, yeah, it was kind of a drought.
How many wins do you think Kyle Larson gets in his career, and will he get any more titles?
Kyle Larson will have at least one more championship. I don't know where it'll come at. Race wins, I think Kyle Larson is going to end up in the 35 to 40 range. Look, he's never never been overly consistent. That's not a news flash. But I think the era of having 10-win seasons is coming to a close because the competition is going to be so much closer together. You know, the Gen 6 was perfect for that because once a team could figure something out, they could dominate an entire season. You know, we saw, if we're honest with ourselves, look at the Gen 6 era. You know, 2017, Truex wins 7 or 8 races. 2018, Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick win 8 races. 2019, Truex wins, I believe, 7 or 8 races. 2019, I just said 2019. It's Truex. 2020, Kevin Harvick wins 8, 9 races. 2021, Larson wins 8, 9, 10 races. You know, like I think that era of domination is going away because they won a lot of races in those seasons, but they were fast everywhere. They would literally unload and just be fast. And so now with this new car, it's created more balance where you're not the fastest car every week anymore. So I don't know. I think that number, that win count's going to look lower because of the era of NASCAR we're in.
Mike Joy, DW, and Larry Mack beats everything.
That was a good booth. I don't mind Mike Joy. I think Mike Joy is solid. I just think Alan Bestwick does a great job of just letting it set. When a moment is just take it in and watch what's happening, he's very good at that.
DW, Bob Jenkins, and Alan Bestwick would be the person's booth option.
I did not get to listen to enough Bob Jenkins to know what he sounds like.
Second option is Mike Joy, Ken Squire, and Benny Parsons.
But those are I think those are two play-by-play guys. You got to pick because you got to have like a play-by-play and then 2 colors. And Mike Joy is a play-by-play. I thought Squire was one as well.
You would bring back the caution clock.
The worst rule NASCAR ever made. I'm sorry. You should have known right then and there that Brian France was on drugs.
Who's better, Larson or Elliott?
That's actually a good question. So here's what I'll say. Larson is the better overall racing talent. Chase Elliott is the better overall driver. Chase Elliott is a more refined racecraft. Let's call it that. So basically what that means is if you have a 36 race schedule and you say, here are 2 very equal cars, who's going to win the most races and finish the race or like have the most consistent races? I would say Chase Elliott's going to be in that boat. But who's going to be able to slide the car around and keep it closer to the edge of control and make it go its fastest? Kyle Larson. So, yeah, the racecraft is more where I see it. Because Larson, he is not good at Martinsville. He was not good at a number of tracks. And he's better at them, but he still wasn't great at them. Where Chase is pretty good at, like, what is Chase's weak point? Like, that's the real question. If somebody knows what is Chase's worst racetrack and what is his weakest point, like what type of track is his worst, that's the real question.
Pit strategy.
Pit strategy.
The stage break was way too long.
Yeah, the first stage was a long break. Now, here's what I'll say, though. They were prepping the track. I am okay with that as long as you're prepping the racetrack. If you're not prepping the racetrack, you need to get moving. But when they were prepping, I'm okay with that. It made the racing better later on.
2015 was Junior's last win.
Yep. Junior and Gordon both had final wins in 2015.
Mark Martin lost the championship because of a BS penalty that took away some of his points early on.
I don't remember that era, but yeah, I mean, NASCAR used to just run the rule book like an iron fist and penalize people for no reason. The problem is now they have replay and all these things, and then when they still do it, it's that much more infuriating.
If you could drive for a team in the Cup Series, which team would it be?
Trackhouse.
Smart. Byron was rushed up way too fast.
Yeah, he only won 4 Xfinity races, and I'm not even, like, if we're being honest with ourselves, the Xfinity Series pre-2015 is a totally different series than post-2015. Like, the record of Christopher Bell winning 8 races as a rookie will never be touched again. Well, it might be touched. I don't know. We could be wrong. But the reason that never happened with other guys was because they were racing Cup guys all the time. Like, there was good talent in that series, but they were racing Cup guys so often that when they went out and, beat the Cup guy, it was like, whoa, look at this guy. And then all of a sudden you got these guys, like, winning a bunch of races, so you're like, well, they've got to move up. They're good. It's like, not really. They haven't beat anyone. That's why it's so important for the Cup guys to come down and run a few races so you can gauge their talent level.
Fun fact, Jeff Gordon was supposed to run the 46 car in 1993. Buddy Baker did not qualify at Talladega.
Huh. I knew he was supposed to run a Cup ride, but I didn't know it was the Buddy Baker car. All I know is Rick Hendrick found a gold mine with him and Ray.
Someone said they would race for Rick Ware Racing, but then Hendrick or Joe Gibbs.
Man, I mean, if you want to win, you're not going to race there. But I could see if you're thinking working conditions would be more fun at Rick Ware. I could understand that.
Do you think Christopher Bell has a bright future, or will be mediocre for the rest of his career?
Oh no, he's fine. Christopher Bell's going to win a race this year. I think he's going to win multiple races, honestly. He's been fast, like really fast. He just needs to cut down on all the mistakes. He's kind of driving stupid at certain moments. And, like, Christopher Bell's fine. He's going to be just fine.
I think we're caught up.
All caught up, are we?
Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, how long is the stream going for?
Hour and 48 minutes.
Hour and 48 minutes. Look at what you've done to me. I shouldn't even say that. I'm driving, so it's not even that hard. But I'll go 2 hours. You got 12 minutes. You better put some good questions in there because I have stayed up until 12:45 just for you. It had nothing to do with the fact that I was driving. It was just for you. I could have slept while driving,
Sure. Oh, there's a few more. Do you want me to finish up the count?
Yeah, we'll keep going. Like I said, I'll go to the 2 hour mark.
Okay. Chase Elliott is not good at Texas.
Is he? Look at his top 10 numbers. I don't know that anyone's technically good at Texas. Like, I don't think he likes it. I think he hates it like a lot of drivers. But if you look at his finishes and the speed he's had, like, 2020 is a good example. He had a good car, just literally got stuck a lap down for over half the race because of a tire issue. And then the All-Star race, he was one of the faster cars and then got caught up in a wreck. Like, it's not that he's bad at Texas. It's just not a good racetrack. Like, you can't pass, so it's kind of fluky. You could say the same with Richmond. He's not great at Richmond. Hendrick as a whole isn't great at Richmond, so that could definitely be on that list. But if you look at the Hendrick lineup at Texas, Elliott still runs with his teammates or on that level. And the same thing goes with Richmond. He runs with his teammates or better than him at Richmond. Larson is consistently the 4th Hendrick car at Martinsville. That's just not a good track for him. It's just not. And then Daytona and Talladega, Larson is snake bit. Like, that's all it is.
Will Stewart-Haas have a bounce back later this year?
I don't know, because Stewart-Haas has never been a dominant team. They just had a dominant duo with Harvick and Childers. Because if you look at the win totals, the 41 cars' most wins in a season was like 2. The 10 cars' most wins in a season is 1. And the 41's, or no, 14. The 14's most wins in a season post Tony Stewart was also 2. So they don't really have dominant teams there. Just one dominant duo that wins a lot of races.
Speaking of DW, when he was in the booth, one call he had with Mike Joy and Larry Mack I always think of was the end of the 2003 Darlington Cup race when Ricky Craven beat Kurt Busch. Iconic finish.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I mean. It was energy, though. It was pure energy that would just... It came out so naturally. He didn't have to force it. He didn't have to do the Rick Allen side by side for the lead. Like, he didn't have to do that. He just got to say what he saw. Here he comes. Oh, I love it.
race craze face reveal.
You can't see anything. It's dark.
I think you did it.
Also, not yet. I gotta get some stuff. Here, I gotta save it for a special occasion. This is just me being angry. And as I said, it's also dark and I'm trying to drive. You want me to get blinded? Huh? You want to put me in the ditch? Terrible.
Rick Ware has nice throwbacks.
That's great, but that doesn't mean I want to drive for him.
Chase and Larson are the best at Hendrick. Do you think Byron or Bowman is better?
I think Byron's better.
Bowman has better luck.
Bowman, they have better strategy. I think Bowman is less. I think Byron has more on the talent level. I think Bowman just had a little more experience that helped him out. But I think in the long run, if you went to total overall career accomplishments, Byron will be ahead of Bowman. The laps led shows that story from last year and this year.
I know what your face looks like because of those cases you got.
Yeah, I've shown it a couple times. You just gotta find it. It's a little Easter egg. Go watch all my videos and give them all thumbs up because you'll find it. That's all you have to do is just go put thousands of hours into videos.
What's the best driver crew chief track combo?
Wait, did it say driver
Driver crew chief track. So. Noah, Ellen's, Homestead.
Man. Knaus, Johnson, and Dover was a hell of a combination. That was a tough one to beat. I mean, they could not be beaten. But you could also say the same thing about Cole Pern, Martin Truex, and Sonoma.
Yeah.
They were really good there. Boy, guys, if you don't know, Dave Ellens, who was the crew chief for Reddick and Byron and Noah, his Homestead setup was just out of this world good. And Noah should have won 3 races at Homestead. Reddick dominated and won at Homestead. And yeah, I think his Homestead setup is just god tier. He's not that great anywhere else though. That's the weird thing. But if I had to go the 3-man combo, I am gonna pick. Oh, that is tough though because Johnson was good at a lot of places. Casey Kane, Kenny Francis, and Charlotte was also a good combination. They won 7 races there in a very short period of time, and they were always fast. That was also a good combination. Who else had good combos though? Every time they would show up to a certain track, they were just they're the guy to beat. I don't know. It's hard not to do Johnson, Knaus, and Dover. I'd have to do Johnson, Knaus, and Dover, or Kane, Francis, and Charlotte. Those two are just. I mean, Casey Kane didn't win a bunch of them. He still won a lot of Charlotte, but he also 2011 ran out of gas while leading on the final restart. 2013 should have won the Coke 600 and the fall race. Both of them got snake bit by yellows. There's a lot of races. 2014 All-Star race they were booking. There's a lot of examples of Kenny Francis and Casey Kane having a fast car at Charlotte.
To 2018 Talladega, Stuart Haas dominated everyone. But
that's Talladega. I don't consider that a dominant team. When I say a dominant team, I'm talking you show up to the track and you're the best car. Cliff Daniels and Kyle Larson last year were the fastest car at 26 races. Kyle Larson won 10 of them, but if we're honest, he was the fastest at the Indy Road course. He was the fastest at the Kansas Spring Race. He was the fastest at, I don't know, how many other races early in the year happened. Pocono when he blew a tire and hit the wall. Larson was just the fastest at so many races. And Harvick was the same way in 2020. I think that domination, and you're just not going to see it, where somebody shows up and is the fastest car every weekend. I think that's what he said. Wasn't it what he said?
Yes?
Yeah, I can't remember. He said something about
Stuart Haas
Oh yeah, how that was dominant. Like it
Yeah.
was a dominant performance as a team, but it wasn't due to like 4 different crew chiefs having great combos with their drivers. They just had fast cars on track where you don't lift.
Bowman's best win is Chicagoland.
I would say Auto Club. I think that was his most exciting win with Chicago, but Auto Club was his most dominant win. That was like where it's like, yeah, Bowman. That was Bowman driving the wheels off it. Nobody was catching him today.
I feel like Chase Elliott might be a driver.
The thing about Chase Elliott, and you can see it year in and year out, when the playoffs hit, that team jumps up a notch. They are better in the playoffs than in the regular season. And this season, that's a scary thought, because if they get better when the playoffs come around, they're going to be a force. So we'll see. But I mean, you look at it, 2017, he was okay. But by the playoffs time to lead races, time to go try and win races. Didn't get the job done, but he was close. Same thing in 2016, honestly. Kansas, where he got eliminated in the playoffs, he led that race. He had a pit issue or some flat tire, I think. But he was leading that race. I remember that. He led at Chicagoland in the first race of the playoffs. Like, when the playoffs hit, that Alan Gustafson, Chase Elliott team comes to life. And their pit stops seem to get better, too. So, maybe, I don't know, maybe they just focus. Maybe they go and just, I don't know. But it works. When playoffs come around, those guys, they button up.
Do you think Gibbs regrets letting go of Jones?
No, I don't think Jones had enough funding for him to really regret it. Until Jones makes it pay for it by beating him in races and showing by winning a bunch of races like that, I don't think it really changed anything. I don't think, if you let a guy go, I don't think you really regret it, because you understand there's a reason you let him go.
Either some of them are the crew chief driver track.
Okay.
Chase, Gustafson, Watkins, Glenn.
That's a good combo, but there's only been 3 years. I need to see a lot more work on it.
Harvick, Childers, Phoenix.
No, that's just Kevin Harvick. It's not just Childers. It's Kevin Harvick at Phoenix, period. Like, end of sentence. Kind of like Harvick, Atlanta, period. Like, those are 2 tracks Kevin Harvick was just better than everyone else.
Fun fact, Carl Edwards ran full-time in the Busch Series between 2006 and 2011. He only ran 1 race in 2012, and that's it.
Yep.
Someone says it's late.
Yeah.
That is a fact.
That is a fact. Where are we? We get close. That's Rockford. Woohoo!
Close.
Almost back. Almost home.
Wasn't Bowman's Auto Club win the race where Blaney had a tire go down when he was leading?
No. Bowman was leading and was like driving away with it. Blaney had a flat tire from second, and he was like not super close to striking.
Drivers who deserve more wins in the Cup Series or titles.
Ooh, Mark Martin on the title side. Wins in the Cup Series, I would have to say Casey Kane. Obviously, I just feel he's been... I mean, his rookie season, he should have had like 3 wins. And the amount of times he got snake bit by late race yellows or just having an issue, like, they were just fast in a lot of places. Like, 18 wins is solid, but he should have had more. Like, the only real lucky race that Casey Kane won was his final win at Indy. But every other race, he was like the dominant car, and there were so many other races just like that where he's like a great car and they just don't get the job done. So, who else deserves more Cup wins? Probably Eric Jones. He's been in position this year, especially. He should have a win by now. Who else has ran really well, just didn't get the win? Reddick. Obviously, he hasn't got a win yet. Career-wise, if I look back a few years, who really ran well but just couldn't get that job done? And I don't know. I can't go back too far. I'm not 100% sure who else it would be.
We're at 2 hours. You want to keep going? Or?
I'll read the rest of them. No new ones after that.
All right. Is the 19 funded for next year?
I mean, I don't know if the sponsors are for Truex or if they're for the team. So, as I said, if Bass Pro Shops is already on board, Noah Gragson might be a really nice, easy fit. But it really does depend on what that looks like going into next year.
Kyle Busch Auto Club, good combo.
Yeah, it's a pretty good combo. He's won a few races out there, like 13, 14, 20, or not 20, sorry, 19, 2005. But he had different crew chiefs for like 3 or 4 of those, so he's good there. But that doesn't, like, it's him, and no matter what crew chief he's with, he was good there. You know, like there are some guys where when the crew chief left, they just suddenly weren't good at that track anymore. Kind of like Gordon Martinsville. He was good there no matter who his crew chief was.
Someone has a 1998 Pontiac Grand Prix pace car that we used in the 1988 Daytona 500.
Wow. Is that like a show car or your everyday daily driver?
Do you think Junior or Jimmy's can racing and have a future in motorsports even though they're very young right now?
Jimmy's, no, and I don't know the Juniors will either. I just think they're far enough away from the racetrack that I don't think it'll really catch them like it does a lot of other kids where they're like at the track. I think Kevin Harvick's girl is more likely to race, honestly, because she's at the racetrack with Keelan and they're racing and they're doing things together as a family, where if you're not spending family time at the racetrack and you're not associating those memories together, it doesn't make you want to do it that highly. So I don't never say never, but I would probably bet on more likely not.
Kurt or Kyle?
Kyle's more talented. Kyle. They're both, I like them both, but Kyle, I would have to say Kyle in about every
situation. Not only was Cole Kern with Truex so good at Sonoma, but they'll always be one of the best driver crew chief combos that I've ever seen, like Johnson and Knaus.
I mean, that I would say 100% yes, but I didn't see Cole Pern with anyone else. That's why I really wish I could have seen Cole Pern crew chief someone else, because Martin Truex is good, obviously, but he only won 2 races in that massive stretch of time. So my question is, what if Cole Pern had gotten with a guy like Kyle Busch, like someone who's aggressive and you know is more likely to take chances that help win those races that sometimes Truex didn't close out? Like, is Busch Cole Pern the magic solution that would have turned into a 7 championship dynasty? Like, maybe it is. I don't know, but I always do wonder that.
Gordon was a good comp.
Yeah, he was good there. He got 4 or 5 wins there, so he's good. But he got a lot more Martinsville wins. He was really good there. Kyle Busch and Bristol, same thing. Kyle Busch has a lot of Bristol wins. Any series, it doesn't matter. Kyle Busch is good at Bristol.
Do you know if Brett Moffitt was on his side on the front straightaway?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was what we saw. He got put in the fence and it put him up on his side. Like, that's why I was so mad at Tanner Gray. It's like he just ran out of talent and slammed him into the wall and put him up on his side. Like, that's what wrecked the truck. So, yeah, no, I saw it. It was kind of annoying because, like I said, he should never have been back there. NASCAR should never have thrown that penalty, and he should have never been in that situation.
The pace car is a daily driver, and the light bar even works.
You ever pace the field on the interstate just for fun? Pull off on the exit ramp, turn the lights off, and let them loose?
Apparently Fox didn't show him on the side.
Good Lord, Fox. I mean, how do you know? I mean, I guess I was watching that battle when it happened because I was trying to see how fast he could chop his way through the field because, like I said, Brett had the best truck tonight. I know a lot of people aren't going to show it or they don't think it because they didn't see it on the broadcast, but that truck was freaking fast. Like, occasionally he got stuck behind someone and just had to ride there, but that truck did not go backwards. It was consistently moving forwards. And if he doesn't get that penalty, he wins that race.
All right, we caught up to where we said we were going to quit.
Awesome. Any others before I jump off?
I'm going to miss seeing Truex's face once he retires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for hanging out, everybody. It is, I am close enough to home now, so, and it's been a very late night. It's 1 in the morning, Central Time, so late night stream. Thanks for tuning in and listening to me rant. As I said, final thoughts would just be that the race was good. It was enjoyable. It's a shame, honestly, that you guys didn't get to have the same experience at home, that Fox didn't do a good job. And honestly, like I said, still a shame that NASCAR has their head up their butt and does dumb things. So, but anyway, guys, stay tuned. More diecast reviews coming in the next week. Have a lot of new arrivals, so no videos have been skimpy this week, but there will be a lot more coming. So, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next diecast review.